humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We've been born out of conquering a world. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful, and we're beautiful, and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. But you must stop bowing to those who want to make you a victim. You must become the victor. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, then you are an enemy of the New World Order and Satanism. They want us shut down because we have the Spirit. I'm jacked into the source. I know the secret, and I want to see you empowered. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it. The soldiers shall not prosper his feet of the loyalty.
And now, His Royal Majesty, the 98th Emperor of the Holy Britannian Empire.
So, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about USAID, and apparently there has been an email that has gone viral telling employees to start shredding documents, and when the shredder overheats, to put some classified documents in burn bags for incineration. So, first and foremost, before we get into the core topic of today's video, the first thing I want to say is, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I definitely think you should. I'm going to show you why. This is my YouTube community tab. This is where I shitpost and post polls and ask your opinion. Yes, a content creator that actually asks the audience, what do you want to see? What do you want to talk about? Crazy, I know. So I ran this particular poll asking what was the most important thing you wanted to see. USAID won out, so this is what I'm doing first. In second place was an LGBTQ Asmongold-looking individual, basically coming on screen and saying that they have no duty to inform their partners that they're HIV positive, that they don't think they should have to do that, which is insane, evil, indefensible. But today we're going to be focusing on USAID, and of course, you know, Canada trashing the United States, which this face from Roman Reigns is just perfect for me, because that is the face I make every time they run their mouth. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, this is the sort of interactivity that you can expect. And I also like to, you know, shitpost and stuff like that. And we have fun here. Anyway, getting to the core topic today. This is a video from Tim Pool, and I have the article pulled up from the Post Millennial. But a USAID employee is told to shred or burn documents in shock report. Deep State Cover-Up, that's the title of Timcast, his video. The channel is Timcast IRL. Doing very well with 2.29 million subscribers. Congratulations to Tim.
Millennial, 5-alarm fire. USAID employees told to shred or burn classified documents. This is from, obviously, Post Millennial. The U.S. Agency for International Development instructed its Washington staff to shred and burn documents, according to an email obtained by NBC News. The directive comes as the Trump administration faces challenges over its attempts to strip and shut down the agency. An email from Erica Carr, USAID's acting executive secretary, indicated that the destruction was scheduled for Tuesday. The message thanked workers for their assistance in clearing our classified safes and personnel documents. Shred as many documents first, and reserve the burn bags for when the shredder becomes unavailable or needs a break. Wait, what? How do they burn these things in D.C.? So they say, while classified materials are sometimes destroyed in emergencies, former employees and a group representing foreign service workers say this directive is not appropriate. Legal groups opposing the administration's effort to shut down USAID filed an emergency motion on Tuesday to halt the destruction. Defendants are, as this motion is being filed, destroying documents with potential pertinence to this litigation. The motion stated the Trump administration officials stated that 3 dozen employees received the email and that the materials being destroyed were courtesy content documents given to USAID by other agencies.
What?
So Mike Benz tweets, this is a 5-alarm fire. Right now, as we speak today, USAID is shredding and burning the contents of its agency's classified safes. The key information needed to reconstruct the history of USAID's weaponization both at home and abroad. But it sounds like the Trump administration wants this to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you scroll down to the bottom, there's another paragraph right there at the end that they're old documents. They're in complete compliance with Federal Records Act of 1950. The official said everyone involved in the process had a secret clearance or hire and was approved by the Bureau that they were handling. Majority of the content is courtesy content. Most original copies are still classified in computer systems. Yeah, I mean, so that's possible for sure.
Yeah, but how about just the actual physicality of what you got to go out back and get a big barrel and throw some gas in there? Like, I mean,
So the way that the email is phrased, and the fact that people are more heightened with their awareness and their instinct to assume the worst, considering the absolutely indefensible nature of what the government has done with our taxpayer dollars. Yeah, this is atrocious. If this is just a bunch of courtesy documents, the email, this seems incredibly politically motivated. This seems like something that is designed to make the Trump administration look bad on both ends. The way that the email is worded, what it makes it seem like is that this is an email that's designed to get the left agitated because they think that Trump and Elon are, basically going in and burning important documents. And on the right side of it, it's, they're looking at this going, well, the government's covering stuff up. This seems like an email that is designed for maximum agitation, which can be a disgruntled employee intentionally doing this to try to stir up tensions and get people talking. And it's absolutely a tactic that the Democrats have used in the past to try to create an optics nightmare for Trump, where people on the right are like, how are you letting this happen? How are you letting these documents get burned? And at the same time, you've got Democrats who, are laughing or celebrating this in some way, like, oh yeah, they're Trump can't even protect these documents, and at the same time, promoting this idea that, oh, Trump can't even keep the country safe. He can't even keep these documents safe. I think there's a lot that goes into this, and I think that optics, really, Democrats at this point, they're all about optics. They're all about optics. They don't really have a soul. These are degenerate, subhuman, creatures that wear human skin. And if you need any more evidence of that these people are in a demonic cult, look no further than Trump's speech to Congress, where you had innocent women who were brutally killed by illegal immigrants, and these people didn't care one iota. They didn't care. And it's not just a theatrics thing, because while Biden was president, they didn't care. These people haven't cared about these dead Americans for a long time, and it just goes to show you that these people, they're in a cult, and they care all about optics. See, for them, these women were American, and they were white. They were white women, and the person who killed them was a poor illegal who came to this, who struggled his way to this country. And, it's like, it's sort of like they're trying to use the argument they use for everything, like, oh, Jamal, pulled out a knife and robbed you and stabbed you. Sure, but think about, like, 400 years ago, there were slaves. And, think about how traumatic it is 400 years ago. Their ancestors. So, yeah, he pulled out a knife and stabbed you and robbed you and, left you to die. But think about the socioeconomic, considerations. They're basically trying to do that with illegal immigration. Yeah, this guy, raped this girl and killed her, but think about it. It's like there were no women he could have sex with on his way up for the border. Think about how lonely he must have felt. And it's like these people are genuinely sick, depraved, degenerate, and evil. And so they would absolutely try to use this as an opportunity to sow discord, that even though there may not be anything to this. This could be a routine thing that happens in Hollywood, happens in DC. DC and Hollywood might as well be the same thing at this point. But at the end of the day, they're going to use it as an optics win because they don't have anything of substance to run on. And ultimately, I don't think it's going to help them. Because there are enough counterculture commentators to shed the light on these issues and to get to the truth and be willing to speak honestly, not partisanly. That's the important thing. Like this particular story, I think the person was trying to engage in maximum harm to Trump, but I don't think there was any actual damage done with these, shredding of documents. I don't think this is the deep state running cover, as it were, because I think what's more likely, and this is Occam's razor, is that this is an employee that's doing a routine task, but maybe was irritated that a lot of the people around them had been fired. So they put out an email like this that is as salacious as possible to get people talking and paying attention.
How are you doing it? Like in downtown Washington, D.C., how are you actually physically setting something on fire?
Well, I imagine they're loading them into trucks, and the trucks bring them to burn sites or something.
Look, I mean, if it's USAID that they're talking about, I mean, these people have the capacity to dispose of incriminating evidence wherever they are, because that's what CIA is capable of doing. That you know that anytime you
see, that's the rub. Is it could be a standard thing. This could be standard practice. Like, oh, we got these old documents are taking up space. These old classified documents from 1950, they're taking up space. It could be an innocuous thing. But because of the corruption that's been uncovered, because the trust in the government is at an all-time low, people's intuition, their hackles are raised. And so they're looking at this going, well, this very well could be a bunch of leftist, agitators and activists that are destroying pertinent documents. And yeah, people are going to react in the way that you see here. There's going to be raised scrutiny about what's going on. And I think that this is important to understand, that politically this is the world that we live in. Because the government has lost so much trust by adopting globalist, atheistic, just sort of leftist worldviews and policies and procedures, it has diminished the faith in our institutions to the point where something like this can cause massive ripples. Whereas before, people probably would have shrugged and be like, okay, they're like destroying some documents. But that's where we are today. That's the heightened reality politically of where we are. And I think that politicians in the future are going to have to be aware of this. That there isn't that appeal to authority the way that there was before. And they're going to have to coordinate their political campaigns and their political rhetoric accordingly. Because you'll always have political rhetoric, but I think that this sort of appeal to authority mindset that a lot of people basically existed on to coast their way through everything in terms of politics, I think that is slowly going by the wayside. and people are going to be more involved, and there's going to be far more scrutiny than there was 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Here historically, anytime a United States embassy was about to be taken over, or you had to get people out, there was burning of sensitive documents. That's actually standard practice.
Right.
It happened in Vietnam and stuff. They were, if you have to get out of there, you burn all the incriminating evidence, anything you don't want to fall into the hands of the opposition forces or whatever. So the idea that they have a protocol that can be used in DC, that should not be surprising to anyone.
No, I mean, you would have a protocol to get rid of documents, but it does seem kind of crazy that they're just burning it all, just getting rid of it without anyone just taking a look at what those files are.
I mean, I would like to think that the DOJ would be able to call and say stop.
If they wanted to. The DOJ is super busy right now.
They are, but I mean,
Everybody's busy.
To be fair, I've seen a lot of criticism of the DOJ where they're pointing out that while the DOJ has done some things, a lot of people expect them to go after the lawfare first. And certainly there was some hubbub over the Epstein files, but it looks more so like they're going after things that we agree or we don't like, but not the biggest priority.
You're not really hearing much from them. Really, I mean,
Kash Patel arrested some U.S. Army guys selling secrets.
Right.
And that's great, but everybody expected the first thing to be those who were waging lawfare against Trump and his legal team would be.
Yeah, I think that the problem is a lot of these people have promised a lot, and just doing your job is not enough. It's just not. So when it comes to Pam Bondi, I can't imagine how irritated people who were around her trying to help her with public relations must have been when she went on news, like Fox News, Jesse Waters, and said that she had the Epstein files on her desk and that she was going to be releasing them. That was one of the most boneheaded decisions to just say that. And then to talk it up like, I've seen these files and he's so gross. And then to not release it. And here's the other part of it. Now you have people saying, the real reason that it's not being released is because, Israel is involved. Israel was involved. It was a Mossad operation. That's what Epstein was. It's protecting Israel. Like, that is the prominent narrative that I've seen pop up. It's like, that's the conspiracy theory that has made its way into the cultural zeitgeist. And it was on Joe Rogan. There was a guy who was talking about Epstein being a... He was, I don't know if he said Mossad agent, but he was somebody that was working with that particular branch of Israeli intelligence. So as it relates to this, let's take a look at the actual article, because we've gotten their perspective. But as they said at the very end here, this is, no documents relevant to litigation are classified. Therefore, they are not part of this directive. They are clearing out their building because it'll be used by Customs and Border Patrol. These are very old documents. They are in compliance with the Federal Records Act of 1950. The official said everyone involved in this process had a secret clearance or higher and was approved by the Bureau of the documents that they were handling. A majority of the content is courtesy content. Most original copies are still in classified computer systems. So I don't want to say that it's a nothing burger, but it kind of is. It doesn't seem to me, unless there's more information that comes out. This seems like it's meant to be sensationalistic. Like, if you look at Tim Pool and you look at his thing, USAID employees told to shred or burn documents in shock report. Like, and then the reality is, it's like, yeah. But why did this guy call it a 5-alarm fire? Right now, and I understand. I understand. I'm not naive. I understand that the implication in this is that amongst these, regular documents, they're probably burning and trying to get rid of evidence. I understand that. I'm not oblivious to that. But if that were the case, if there was something odd or nefarious about this, these people would have reported on it instead of just, at least from my perspective, these people would have reported on it. Instead, it's sort of just conjecture. At a time when USAID's past history is most under the gun and most important to publish publicly, what possible benign reason could there be for mass shredding of paper documents, classified safes, and personal info? Why is there no official public communication about the reason? Well, apparently they have the reason. Apparently, the reason, U.S. District Judge Carol Nichols, who was overseeing the case, did not immediately rule on this request. He ordered both sides to submit a status report by Wednesday morning and proposed a schedule for further proceedings. No documents relevant to litigation are classified, therefore they are not part of this directive. They are clearing out their building because it'll be used by Custom and Border Patrol, the official claim. Okay. I do think this needs more oversight, of course. I think going forward, I think that all this stuff needs more oversight because people are hyper aware and now they're nervous. They're nervous. They've spent the better part of the last 4 years watching the least transparent government in history. In the United States, Biden has been a disaster. He was not president. We all know that Biden was not president. He was not president. He wasn't present either. So, yeah, I wanted to cover this because I told you that I would, but my take on this is probably going to be a little bit different. I don't think this is the story that people wanted it to be. I think Tim Pool and other people, I think they wanted it to be like this big, like liberals are breaking into USAID to try to burn documents because it would have been a better story. But I think this story ultimately is being overblown, personally. But the reason why I do this content is, to give you my take, and you let me know what you think. Do you think that it's a serious deal? Do you think that it's a big deal? Well, let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, I have more videos to get to. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.